Hi, I am back with another video. This time I want to talk about a third possible scenario for the future. Still related to our sex lives. I'm going to stay on topic because there are many things that I see happening around here, but I'm not going to talk about them, at least not here. So this insight that I have, so first the structure. I want to tell you where I got this insight from, or what I base it on, then what it is, and then I have, actually I'm going to include a little example of what I mean. I got the approval of somebody that I worked with to mention a little bit about his case, because it's a man. So first of all, where am I coming with this crazy idea? It's based on our lockdown or quarantine and the fact that we've been having, some of us, a lot of our energy oriented towards our inside as well. So meditation, contemplation, thinking, pondering over, ruminating, some of us, which is not a good thing, but hey, you know, everybody's where they are. And I believe many people, among all the crazy thoughts and negative thoughts and whatever, depression, whatever other toll that this period took on them, I believe that many people also had constructive thoughts, and many people focused also on the positive. I know I've had a mixture. I've had depression, I've had anger, a lot of it, and I've also had constructive things. So I'm somewhere in the middle, I think. But one thing that occurred to me, and this is exactly the second part, so the third direction that I see. One thing that occurred to me is that in all this craziness, a lot of people have been focusing on what can they do to improve, what can they do to work on their performance, what can they do to work on their parameters, let's say, functioning parameters, what can they do to improve themselves. So some people took it also in the positive way. And I believe that sexuality, so it must have occurred to other people, not just to me. Sexuality is a resource in this direction if we choose to use it. The first person that ever talked about this was, Napoleon Hill in the book Think and Grow Rich. There was this chapter where he mentioned that you can transform your sexual energy into creative energy and focus it on your work. So don't, and this is especially the case with men, especially because through ejaculation they lose a lot of energy, and this is already known. Every guy out there knows that after they ejaculate, they have a time where their energy is down. Well, Napoleon Hill suggested that maybe taking a step back from their sexual life and using their energy into more creative work, more work driven towards expanding, evolving, growing for themselves. There are many other people nowadays that mention this. Anybody that has been studying or at least checking out the tantric field or the tantra tradition, also the Taoist tradition, there are parts there where sexuality is mentioned, and it is suggested that it be included, and there are a lot of advice given there around how to engage sexually so that you don't lose your energy, but you use it creatively, you charge yourself with it. So that's where I come from with all of my perspective, and I feel that a lot of people will start thinking about this. This is especially the case for people who are in committed relationships, because it does take two to tango. It's much harder to do this on your own. And here I'm going to say this, even though self-pleasuring and masturbation come easier to women because there's no drainage of energy as in the case of men. Even in that situation, self-pleasuring and engaging in your erotic energy, sexual energy, arousal, and everything on your own, and taking it to a higher place isn't so easy. it's really much easier when you do it with somebody else. There's just, there's an entire space that is created between two people. Granted, you can't do that just every time, and you can't do that with absolutely everybody out there. Both partners need to be in a certain space. They need to have this perspective around sort of a mindful sex act, bringing the sex act to a state of meditation, or bringing some qualities from the meditation into their lovemaking. It doesn't happen with everybody, especially with people that really go for the intense ride. They go for really strong sensations. So there's a lot of primal energy there. So consciousness can't really do its thing. Let's just say this. And your entire being, your entire body can't really lift that energy to your heart space or up to your intuition or wherever else you want to raise it, which other level you want to raise it to. Yes, I'm using a lot of concepts from Tantra, but that's the place where it was best described, energy, consciousness, and what happens to your sexual energy, how it can be sublimated, because that's the term. So I think that in the future, I don't think this is going to be mainstream yet, but I think more and more people, because there will be still a lot of pressure and a lot of, there's a lot of anxiety and fear still being spread around. So I think many people will choose to remain with the same partners and work on their relationships and use lovemaking as resources for recharging themselves and also boosting their capacities. I'll just say it like that. Sexual energy can do that, and a sexual act can do that if you're wired for it, first of all, and if your intention is there, and if you and your partner are there. And I have just one example. I got the okay to mention just a little bit, so I'm going to respect that. A few years ago, I worked with a man who he hadn't always been aware of his capacity, but this guy, I'm going to call him like that, that's not a lack of respect in any way. So this guy could last for hours making love with his lover. Yes, he's super in love. I think he still is. He had an exceptional woman with him. But the idea is that this guy could do that naturally. And I haven't met that many men in my practice, among colleagues, among just people that I interacted with. I haven't met that many men who were so open to spending hours, and I mean hours, I mean like 9 hours or more. And that's a gift. And it doesn't come as a surprise to me, and I guess it won't come as a surprise to you either. This man is no average Joe. Absolutely not. To the opposite. Because there's a link between your erotic capacities, sexual capacities, and your financial and material capacities. Yes, this man is a very successful man. He's materially, like, I don't know, in top 3 in our country, I think. I'm not sure, but he's somewhere really high. Like, he's got a successful business, thriving. He's a breakthrough model in his field. And that's not a coincidence, okay? Somebody that you tap into an extraordinary resource in yourself, and you use it on the long run, and then you're going to start seeing that exceptional expression in other fields. And this was this man's case. He's an exception to the people that I've worked with. But for the time being, let's say that not so many people look at sexuality in that way. Not so many people go into work and into whatever they do with such passion and commitment and with insight, to spot things on, and they stay there as long as it takes until they break through. But it is possible. I mean, this guy he's an exception now because not so many people have been focusing there. I believe in the future, there's this trend that it's not going to be mainstream because it's not easy, but I think more and more people will gravitate towards that, especially long-term partners will go there. And men usually do this in long-term relationships with women that offer a proper space for this, because not every woman's gonna be able to handle that. Let's be honest with this as well. So it's not every man that also can do that. I mean, it does take more, how do I say this? I don't just want to say that it takes more openness, but it takes a certain availability on your part to go the extra mile, to put in some efforts, and to not just go for instant gratification, fast gratification, and self-pleasuring, and that's it. So yeah, that's my take. Yeah, some health issues. Not coronavirus, don't worry. So this is my take on the perspective that I see happening and I see coming in the near future, in the next years. As we're still in a pandemic, because even if the lockdown and quarantine will be lifted, the pandemic is still going to be out there. I don't think the situation is as bad as we are being told. I think that a lot of us are capable to fight this virus. Our immune systems are strong enough, especially if we work out, if we allow ourselves to have really calm and peaceful and balanced lives. I think we have a really good shot at this. And our erotic life and our intimate life can definitely be resources for our immune system and also for improving ourselves. So becoming these sort of superhumans, but don't think in terms of Marvel comic books or Marvel movies, none of that. Superhumans in terms of capacity, performance, parameters, optimal parameters at which we work, amazing things that we do out there, and the way that we break through steps and we go higher and higher in our lives. So that's it. Long story short. I hope that you guys are great. I hope that you're enjoying the posts. I would love to know your feedback on this, and if you feel like sharing any models or people that have inspired you in this way, or anything from your personal life, without disclosing, too many intimate things about other people. So keep discretion there. I'd love to know. I'd love to read those, and I'll see you in other videos. Ciao.